There we are. Apparently we're live. So there we go. Just speak a little bit so I know you're going through my OBS right now, because I've got it set up so you're coming through my desktop audio.
Oh, I heard the beep.
Right, there we go. Perfect. Right. Welcome. This is the first time we're doing anything like this. I kind of wanted to sit down and talk to other Conclave players, especially now that the community is getting, one, smaller, and two, still at the same time getting new people. So yeah, welcome to the show.
Oh, thanks for having me.
No worries, man. So yeah, tell me a little bit about yourself and what got you into Conclave.
Well, I kind of got bored with PvE, and I wanted to try Conclave out again. When I had in the past, but I was super noob at it.
Yeah. What update was it that you started playing Conclave?
Well, when I started playing Conclave,
Yeah.
it was like, I think it was before Plains of Eidolon, during Chains of Hera,
Oh,
and then I stopped.
you stopped at the best time, I'm afraid. Because from that point on, it's only been downhill, which is a shame. But what was your first loadout?
I've never experienced the Kuva Brahma.
The Kuva Brahma wasn't the worst one. Actually, there was one worse before that, believe it or not. And do you know what that one was?
No, I didn't know.
No, we had a really interesting bug. It was with the Hydroid rework that came shortly after the Chains of Harrow update. And it was with Hydroid and Panthera. Now, the Panthera now is completely useless and is nothing but a meme weapon, but to this day it still gives me fucking PTSD. So, what would happen is somehow the Altfire Blade was linked with affinity range, sort of like the way Saren's bug with this electric procs work now, you know? It's now based on affinity range. So what would happen is a Hydroid would use Undertow and then hold down the Altfire of the Panthera once he's popped back up. And anybody within a minimum radius of about, I'd say about 50 meters would automatically get a Panthera blade teleported them and just deals damage to them and it would kill them.
Oh man.
It was AIDS. It was bad. Oh, it was bad. It was probably the worst update going, to be fair. It really was. It was so bad that it took DE a month to fix it as well. I just want to point that out. It took a whole month to fix that. So being me, you know, I'm like, okay, how do I fix this problem? And it turned out if you were invisible, it wouldn't teleport to you, right? So I brainstormed a bit, and I'm like, well, I can't be Loki all the time, because if you play Loki with it, it will still like, you can't attack anybody while invisible, because you would just come right out of it and then die. You can't use Ash because the same problem. The only Warframe that allows you to remain invisible while attacking anybody is Ivara, and even then you'd have to rely on the arrows, not the third ability, invisibility, because it would still take you out unless you were using a silent weapon, and you're very limited on movement. So what you had to do was you'd had to play Ivara, put an invisible arrow down, and then use the Panthera yourself, because it didn't just affect that Hydroid, it affected everybody in that radius. So if a Panthera Hydroid, well, even if just a Hydroid used Undertow, and you held down the Altfire with the Panthera, you would have the same bug. So what I did was I just killed Panthera Hydroids with their own weapon, and they got annoyed because they couldn't kill me back, because their one wouldn't lock onto me. So that's kind of where it started, with the whole use the cheese against these people, because they don't like it. They like it. They don't like it even. They like it even less than when you beat them with non-cheese, because they don't care that they're bad getting They just care about getting the kills, and if I stop them from getting that, then it's more effective anyway. Right? Well, that's my logic anyway with it. But yeah, that was just after Chains of Harrow that happened, and I remember when Chains of Harrow came out, I was sat there with Arrakis, with Scrublord, with bloody Zero, and Stone Zone and everybody, and we were all sat there. I was like, Conclave is only going to go downhill from here, and everyone was like, nah, it's not going to go down here. It's only going to get better. And then they brought out that fucking exploit. And I'm fucking just like, I told you. And then they got fixed, and they were like, see? And then Brahma happened. Now that was another interesting one, which was also solved by playing Ivara. Like, fucking using Navigator to navigate the arrows. What, sorry?
Have you tried Ivara and Lanka?
No, actually. What does that do?
Well, I saw somebody else use it in Conclave the other day, and so they would activate that homing ability, and then shoot Lanka.
It's not a homing ability. They literally take control of that projectile. So that guy shot the Lanka, used the second ability, and controlled that projectile into somebody.
Yeah, he got like 2 headshots with it.
I remember the early days of Navigator too. I used to use it with Javlock because Navigator used to add a 5x multiplier to anything that you navigate, so it would one-shot basically, right? And it was so easy to exploit it, but I think people really didn't know about it, or they just thought it was like a gimmick that they didn't realise how powerful it was. So I used to Ivara navigate Javlocks into Daiku players from across the map, and they'd always PM me like, Rivium, how do you get the Javlock to follow me? I'm just like, it's magic, man. And then it looks so dumb since it's Javlock, because it's like a fucking like rod just squint flying through the air because it doesn't line up properly. It's not aerodynamic. It just looks so dumb.
I think Zero used that on me.
Yeah. Zero is the last one that uses Ivara Javlock now because it's still funny, right? It's a fucking flashback to the old days. It's so strange. I remember when they nerfed Navigator, they made it so if you used it, it'd actually do less damage because they made it a 0.2% multiplier, which is negative. Like, they couldn't get the numbers right. And then they made it a ×2 multiplier, which still was bad. And then they made it a 1.2, which now just isn't worth doing unless you have something that's, like, very specific. For me, that was the little drone from the Zenith. Right, so what I would do is I'd navigate that into a room and then stand behind a wall and shoot people through the wall, because then the drone would let me see them.
Ah, cool.
And then people would accuse me of aimbotting. It's just little things like that, man. It's like that to me was what Conclave was about. And now that you've come back to this era from Chains of Harrow, which to me was like the most balanced Conclave it ever will be, you left that prime era to come back to this. Bro, that must have been a fucking kick in the teeth, man. What was your first reaction when you first ran into a Telos?
When I first run into what?
A Telos Boltace, like when you ran into that for the first time. What was your immediate reaction to that?
It was fucking OP. Like, I just came into a match, and then I get ragdolled and thrown off the mat, and I didn't come back till like 2 minutes later.
Yeah, I'm guessing this was on Outpost.
Yeah.
Outpost was the worst for that, but yeah.
Necros.
Oh god. I think you're cutting out a bit.
Huh?
I was hearing something in the background. I don't know what's happening there with the audio. It just cut out a bit there.
Oh, my brother was kind of talking.
Oh, never mind. I didn't know. He needs to come closer to the mic, is because it keeps cutting out.
Oh, my bad. Well, yeah. When I came to Conclave, after a while, I was getting beaten up so bad that I built static core at Lanka, but I didn't have a Saren, so I used Mag.
That mean
And
Saren Mag, that shit was Mag right now is pretty exploitable, but not a lot of people are doing it.
yeah,
Like her ult
I
is
just
like fucking super effective against groups of people.
yeah, definitely. That's that's kind of why I use it against people that are like it's subtle teaming, but like when they follow me too much, I get their shields down and then I crush them.
Jorvin Animations, yeah, I do remember you, man. Thanks for popping by. It's nothing to do with modelling, I'm afraid. This live stream, it's something else that I take part in, which is in a game. So sorry that you've came back. It's the first stream of me doing anything in ages, and it's nothing to do with 3D modelling. So I do apologise for that. But yeah, I do remember you, man. Thanks for popping in. But you continue consuming. Or were you done? I don't know. If you cut out again, hello. Maybe doing this on Discord was a bad idea.
Oh, really?
I don't know because like you go quiet and I don't know. It does some audio thing on my. I mean, it's bearable. It's first stream and everything, right? Like I'll iron it out later on, right?
Oh,
Like.
it was because I had the live video up.
Oh
Trying to see.
right.
I was trying to see who was asking questions when I.
I'll read them out when I see them. I didn't have OBS up there to see any of the questions, but this was from Jorvin Animations. So I've got 4 viewers. Thanks for everyone stopping in though. That's like really cool.
Yeah.
Any questions for Consuming, ask away. I'll relay them to him and he can answer. But on with the following conversation though. What is the build right now that you're currently using that kind of represents you as a player at the moment?
Well, I use a number of builds, but my favorite right now is Argonac, Mag, and Vasto Prime with Crocker.
Ooh,
That Grineer sword.
yeah, yeah.
So instead of using the stance mod, because it's ridiculously OP. Like it broke all swords, including Meyer. And I just thought, why not swoosh with it? Because Moon told me about it. Moon told
Mhm.
me about how effective swooshing could be.
Oh, dude,
So I
like
kind of like,
that was his go-to, man. Like Moon, like he loves that Reaper Prime and like the Ether fucking Reaper, all those scythes and shit, man. He loves that.
yeah,
I like a melee weapon with a gimmick. So all my melee weapons were either like at the start. I mean, obviously, it was like the very first melee weapon I really equipped was like the Jack Katag back in the day. Um,
yeah,
then I went to the Prisma Obex because I loved the way you would be able to knock people down on a slide attack. And it was one of the few melee weapons in the game at that point where you could actually knock down with an offhanded slam because they removed that ability once they nerfed the Jack Tag when it first came out. So slam attacking was useless unless you were a melee player or you had fist weapons like the Furax or you were using the Prisma Obex. So I went for those ones.
Prisma Obex is like my favorite right now.
You should try the new Grineer sparring melee weapons. I can't remember what they're called, but they're slower, but they hit like a fucking truck.
Yeah,
Like, all
the
your shield's gone.
I know Akenborn was really powerful at one point, but I
Oh,
never got to try it.
bro, you have no idea. That shit was busted, right? You did one combo with it and you just die. Like, it's pure fucking death.
Even Haruto, like it's crazy.
Yeah, Haruto right
Trying to
now
find it.
is gaining a lot more popularity than it should be because I think people realise it gives you health on kill or some shit for a few like seconds
Yeah,
or
it
something.
doesn't it doesn't give you much health back. You have to like consistently kill with it.
Yeah. I don't know, I think it's just that little bit that people need to kind of get through. And then after the Prismobics, I went to not Sylvan Aegis, the, what's it called? Fucking Sigma Noctantis. And the reason why I went for that melee weapon when it first came out was because it was very limited.
It's bugged now because you can't even slam with it. One time it was in one of my loadouts and I tried slamming with it, and then I went down really slow and somebody headshotted me.
I still love it, man. The throw is fucking just like, again, any melee weapon with a gimmick. That's all. Like, I love it. Like, I'll go for it right away. It's like my go-to. But you know, melee in general right now is kind of not in a good place because of blocking. How would you really go about fixing that type of thing?
How would I go fix melee block?
Yeah.
Well, I make it so that you won't. I mean, you can't block an entire magazine of Soma Brine. That's ridiculous.
Mm.
It reduces the block angle for some weapons. I think the highest ones with block angle are Silva and Aegis Prime, and well, Sword and Shield's weapons.
Yeah. So, I mean, how I would fix it anyway, I would fix it by just removing blocking as it is and make it drain energy. And when you run out of energy, or you run out of like a blocking stamina, you'd like get staggered. They got rid of it in PvE because no one used it. Like, if you think about it, reflecting an enemy bullet back at somebody with melee that drains energy, and it's only going to do about like 20 damage to them because of the way the enemy scaling works, it's not effective, or no one's going to use it, so they removed it. And they that's when they started playing around with charge attacks or like heavy attacks again. And then that's sort of like led to where we are right now, because all these current bugs and issues in Conclave are simply, you know, because people are, you know, like putting it in Conclave, really. They're allowing it in Conclave. Shield gating is a PvE change that got leaked into Conclave. Like, melee blocking was a PvE change. So...
One thing I don't like about shield gating is that you can block so many shots. I mean, the shield gate itself, it's almost like it's unlimitedly powerful.
So,
period.
Yeah, back in the day when I played Nidus a lot, right, people would complain about Nidus's stacks and about how, you know, how a Nidus can survive a fucking ult, like 3 ults in a row if you had 3, like, stacks or whatever, right? Was your brother trying to say that? It keeps cutting out when it comes to your brother talking.
Oh, my brother was saying was that, like, but he's so squishy, like.
Oh, look, back in the early days, right, when we go to Chains of Harrow, right, the reason why he's so squishy now is they did a rework in PvE about how Tenno take damage. So they you know those mods in Conclave that convert 20% of the damage into either impact, puncture, or slash? Those are completely useless now, because what the developers done for Warframe, they made it so Tenno have their own weaknesses outside of the things that the Corpus and the Grineer have. So our armor and all that sort of thing is completely different to what they have, right? So before, if you use an impact weapon on Nidus, it would do like a quarter of the damage, right? So basically he was super tanky because armor and just the resistances of armor, right? And like just being a frame in general. So that's why frames like Inaros and Nidus were actually viable back in the day, because they would be able to survive the same amount of shots as every other Warframe, apart from obviously Nidus having these stacks, right? So it would take 2 shots from a Snipetron to kill a Nidus, whereas now it takes 1. Right? It basically means now that because yet again they've changed some PvE stuff, we are kind of like in the repercussions of that, and we now have to like balance that and change away like around with it. So now with the state of Warframe, right, with Nidus being like that, there's sort of now just a power vacuum because all these players that were complaining about stacks being overpowered are now exploiting and really like enjoying shield gating because they're not getting one shot by things that they used to be able to be one shot by.
Right. I think I annoyed somebody the other day using Snipetron.
It's gaining more popularity because I think it's like the more balanced sniper now because it does a fair amount of damage and it has a fair fire rate to it, whereas Vectis Prime is fucking broken.
Oh, it is. I guess last night I was showing a player how thugged it is, and it turns out that he kept getting different damage numbers due it's due to the fall off bug, and he was bordering 200 damage per shot.
That would be just 2 shields as well, by the way.
Yeah, right, just 2 shields, and as if if I put a slash conversion mod on my Vectis Prime, I dealt consistent damage numbers.
So to point out, like 200 damage on just a body shot on the shields, right, is the equivalent of a full charge Opticore headshot. Right?
Yeah.
So it tells you where we are in terms of level of balance, which there isn't any, right? They're really, we're at the point now where we're sort of just like juggling now to make sure we found or or we're seeing everything, because every update something gets worse, right? I don't know if you've noticed this, but every single massive update in Warframe makes Conclave worse. And it's simply just because they've tweaked a weapon or they've stealth nerfed something and that's buffed it in Conclave, right? Massive example, Strun Wraith. Because they've tweaked the fall off on that weapon, it's bugged it in Conclave and is now absolutely fucking busted. You're across the map and you're able to take someone's shields away because you fired a shotgun.
Tigris deals almost 1500 DPS. That's insane.
Oh yeah.
Last night I shot somebody almost 100 meters away and took all their shields down. And I could have killed them in one shot.
It gets even worse if you mix it with Saren, by the way, because Saren's third ability goes on the guns. So basically, if you put that on, so 10% poison onto a Tigris, that's 100 damage on poison.
Yeah, Toxic Lash.
Yeah. That's how I use. That's why I've got Tigris on my Saren, because like if I'm going up against cheese, it means I'll outgun them right away, because as soon as you inflict poison on someone, it removes their shield gating before their shields go away, which is absolutely busted. Because like, let's just say Toxic Lash, I use that on a Tigris, right? And for whatever reason I don't one-shot the guy right away, it means the next shot I'm going to fire is going to go right through the gating because the gating's gone. It's no longer there because of poison damage.
The only thing I don't like about Toxic Lash is that I think the duration lasts too short. It's too short.
I'm kind of glad it lasts too short because it is so fucking powerful, man. It is so... Like, you mix that with the right combos, like, you mix that with Wolf Sledge, like, you can see why there's going to be an issue, because right away you're going to do poison AoEs on a weapon that does over 500 damage on explosion.
Right.
Like, that is...
Wolf Sledge now has, no follow-up.
So, when Wolf Sledge was first added, there wasn't really anything wrong with it. Right, blocking wasn't an issue. You're able to shoot at them while they're throwing it. They were stood still while throwing it. They couldn't move, right? And as the updates came along, it became more and more bugged. And then right when they done this Glaive rework, right, it's just gotten to the point where it's just completely fucked. There is nothing about it now that's balanced at all. Like, the Glaive update has completely just shattered the Wolf Sledge and turned it into something disgusting.
Even regular Glaive is busted.
Right, no, well, I don't know, right? I think it's okay, regular glaive. I think it's okay until you get to the part where you block it.
Yeah.
'Cause I like...
Regular glaive
You
is
continue.
fine, but it is kind of bugged because it deals 630 damage on explosion. That means he could headshot and get 235.
I don't mind glaives one-shotting though, to be fair. I don't mind that. I don't like them when they nuke AoE something, right? That to me was never fair, right? See with the Serata right now, see if they nerfed or removed the AoE from glaives and they made it so they like one-shot, I think that would be okay. And they removed blocking, obviously. If the blocking wasn't there, the AoE wasn't there, and there was a nice long wind up to a throw, I actually think they'd be fucking pretty cool to use, you know that? Because it would encourage people to aim, it's a travel time weapon. I think that's fine, right? So that's another thing. When Scrublord discovered the exploit with the Serata, right? You know how that exploit works though, right? I don't want to say it live in case there's people who don't know how it works and then suddenly start using it. But you do know how that works, right? Right. So...
You made me have to block that.
Bro, the amount of times that you found me now when I was like doing that annoyed the hell out of me. There was like a game where I was like trying to navigate the fucker who was doing it and you were just there killing me. I'm like, fuck off. That annoyed the hell out of me. I was like, how can you see me? How do you know I'm going to be there? But I'm guessing I was like plainly visible with my red energy.
well, I'd say I'm pretty adaptive.
You noticed me right away and that was brilliant. You're like one of the few people that actually notice me when I'm invisible navigating, because people just walk past me and they're like, oh, what's that blur? And then they get fucking navigated to death. It's hilarious. Right? Like, man, I kind of, when it comes to Serata, right, I don't really have an issue with it when you throw it at somebody and it hits them. I don't really have an issue with that one-shotting, unless you're like running around AoE spamming it. That I don't like that, and obviously because you're blocking too. See, when you're using Navigator with it, you can't block. You're immobile, and you have to hit them directly with it. I don't really see the cheese in that. I like Navigator, and I want that ability to really work and actually be effective. It's just a shame that I have to use this weapon to do that. That's why I put a skin on it and renamed it, because like I didn't want this to get out of hand, you know, because I really enjoyed doing it, but I just didn't want it getting out of hand. And then Aquarius figured it out, and then obviously from that point on, the rest of El Imperial decided to use it, and then that's when it started to spread. But man, it was so good while it lasted. I was using the Serata while it was broken, like months ago in September last year, man. That's how long ago I was using it. So,
Yeah.
comments in the chat right now. I'm just noticing. Wolf Sledge could still knock down on throw. It would still be annoying. See, I disagree. I like the knock. I think what they should have done now though is like if they kept the knockdown but made it so it doesn't like remove all of your shields. I don't really see an issue with that. Okay, you can still block it, throw it. You can now, but you never used to though. Alpha, you never used to be able to block it. That only came in the melee update. So right now in the chat we have Local Boy, who's Moon, and we have John Fucker, I think that's supposed to say, who is also Alpha Unit in Conclave. So we have them in the chat right now. What do you think about Daiku?
Daiku?
Yeah.
I hate getting hit by the thing. Honestly.
So I've got a question. Have you ever seen the arrow fly completely past you and still kill you?
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, what a shock! That's because the weapons hitboxes are like fucking Hanzo's arrows from Overwatch back in when it was first released. It's like you're firing a fucking log. Absolutely fucking busted.
I hate that bow, and I don't even use that. I got rid of it because I didn't like charge time. Like I'd rather use Paris Prime or Cerno.
Yeah, Paris Prime is really cool. Like, it doesn't have the same... Like, notice how as well, Paris Prime... Oh, I got killed by a Paris Prime, but I didn't see the arrow fly completely past me. Huh. I wonder why that is, you know? Maybe I'm just seeing things, I guess, right? Like, apparently that is the fucking case.
Right. And one time I was on Fright Line, and another player, she was in the air, and she somehow tracked me through the wall and killed me. And I'm behind this big housing.
Yeah. Rib with his Vietnam flashbacks. Fuck you, Zero. Fuck you. You damn well. You know damn well what I'm talking about, cunt. Fucking goddamn. Fucking Vietnam flashbacks. I'll have you know they're fucking like legit flashbacks, man. Fuck you. Goddamn. That's a That's PTA. That's triggered. That's motherfucker. Right. I remember, so Chains of Harrow, right, or right before Chains of Harrow, I'm confused on the timeline with this one. There used to be a bug with the Daiku where if you fired it while in the air, you'd get hit with your own arrow.
What?
Yep, that's how big the hitboxes are. They ended up fucking up the hitboxes even more, that they actually had to put the arrow hitboxes forward a bit more so that people firing the fucking bow wouldn't kill themselves with it. I had an old video, it's long gone now. There was a video up and I just seen the guy, I'm blocking there, trying to channel block and like fire the arrow back at them, right? Because he used to be able to do that, and I loved doing it. And the guy then, like, I remember in a video, a guy complained about how overpowered the Prisma Obics were because I was one-shotting the guy with his own fucking Daiku arrows. Right? But the plot thickens as well. And I remember there was a meme at the time too of like a guy trying to, like, it was just a meme of a guy like fucking trying to commit suicide by like firing a bow and arrow in his own mouth by like using his feet to pull the string back. That's how I imagined every single fucking Daiku player at the time. Oh man, that shit like fucking, oh, it killed me. That shit absolutely fucking killed me. I loved it. Oh, that was the best update, watching Daiku players fall out the sky and then immediately try to switch to another type of bow and arrow and then fail miserably because they can't fucking aim. Oh god. That was the reason, that fucking bow was the entire reason I was like, fuck it, I need to make a specialised build just for these types of players. Nidus Staticor, best shit in existence, the ethnic cleanser of Conclave, right? Fuck every single other build, right? That shit was the best back in the day, right? Absolute fucking the best.
the Daiku and the Prisma Obex.
What, like, what do you mean, my build, or?
Yeah, your build.
The build I'm talking to when it came to, like, fighting Daiku players was Nidus with Staticor. Now, the Staticor back then, when you ran into them, it didn't even remove all your shields. It did like 50 damage on knockdown when you ran into somebody, but the whole purpose of it was to knock people down to then get a stack off of them with Nidus's first ability, right? That way you can't get one shot by the fucking bullshit Daiku because you have multiple stacks. They have to hit you more than once, which is something that most of them were incapable of doing. So
you know, Staticor now is really busted.
yeah.
Even with static alacrity, you could still take down somebody's shields in one shot.
I mean,
so like,
yeah, it's more busted now than what it was. It never used to be an issue back in the day, really. Like, it was only an issue as if someone Rhino rolled you with it, and then you started throwing it. But even then, the projectile was so slow that you could never like hit anybody with it, and it didn't have the same AOE range that it did before. Like, it used to be tiny. Like, if you got hit with a static core when it was thrown, you deserved to die because it moved so slow and it was just so bad that it was just you just didn't use it.
Yeah.
Loco has asked a question. Do you think Conclave is becoming more balanced since players are now making personal loadout changes to stop using cheese, despite the few cheese players and the game itself not changing after years?
Yeah, I think it could become balanced in a self-controlled, self-sustained kind of way. Even without without the devs' interference of those of the weapons and the exploits.
I disagree with that. I think if I were to go into a public match right now I would encounter a Maya or something. Someone would have one of those builds on, right, or have something with that, right? And then they would try and argue with me about how it's fair, or they're using it because they're bad at the game, or whatever, right? The only way you're ever going to get a balanced conclave is if the devs intervene, or you make a private session.
Right.
Alpha, we're avoiding questions on that nature, I'm afraid. I know that is a point for contention, however, we do not, on this, we don't want to give them that type of publicity, I'm afraid. Even though he desperately wants it, he's not getting it. So, when it comes to broad general changes, what's the one thing you'd like to see getting added now?
One thing I would like to see added into Conclave?
Yeah.
I mean, what?
I think
See, what kind of weapons aren't in Conclave that should be in Conclave?
That's a good question.
I know Pennon one time was in it. Oxamati Prime. Yep. That's one of them I would like to see. Because it was entirely left out. Oxamati Prime. And Pennon was in Conclave. I think I remember getting hit one time by the thing and dying.
Yeah.
And Zaws.
No, we're not adding Zaws back. No.
Yes.
No. Please, we're not doing that. Everyone in chat, support me here. No fucking Zaws in Conclave ever again. Fuck that fucking set of melee weapons. Holy shit, those were bad. They were fucking bad. You weren't around for that, were you?
How would Garuda be in Conclave, though?
Busted. Her fucking melee weapons from not equipping a melee weapon would mean you'd probably
I would love to see Grendel in Conclave.
Grendel in Conclave, no. Oh god,
Yes,
no.
Grendel and Telos Baltus.
No. Don't do this to me. Don't do it. No. Grendel in Conclave. That is fucking cancer. Holy shit. No, I've got one better. Helminth abilities in Conclave.
Oh my god.
No.
Imagine a 2.1 mobility barrage.
Fuck. No. I'm thinking more Mirage with fucking Rhino Roar. Oh shit.
No.
What are you Local, what the fuck are you on? What the fuck? Nah. He needs to, fucking Loco needs to fucking sit down and go to memory lane. Zaws were definitely bad, but not as what. Shut up. Yeah, they were horrendous. Oh my god, they were bad. They were everywhere. Every fucking Mongol in their fucking dug was running about with a Zaw. They were that bad.
Oh, what happened? What? Zaws?
Yeah, Zaws, man. Bro, you missed that.
I do remember getting hit by Zaws, though.
What, like the one-shot fucking air swipe hammers?
Yeah.
Bro.
And the broken Nakanas.
I didn't see much Nakanas, to be fair. I seen a lot of hammers because we were at the time my group were sort of against El Impero, and all El Impero were able to do was Zaw and fucking Telos. Wait. That's how bad it was, man. Loco's got a question. What would be a frame you'd like to see in Conclave in the future, or brought back again from the removed stuff?
Ember.
God, no, not Ember. Fuck. Why? Fuck Ember.
I mean, she isn't that bad now. Like,
dude.
She's severely.
Fire procs in Conclave now are cancer. That's why the Sylvan Aegis is that bad, because fire procs let the person know, oh, shield gating's away on that victim. And then fire blast spam, can you imagine? Ignis. I heard Ignis Wraith. Go away. Ignis Wraith. Stop.
Ignis Wraith is just awful.
Oh god.
The range on it is.
Oh, it's bad.
Cheese. It is cheese.
Oh boy. I remember when the worst thing we had like to deal with in Conclave was Archoplasmor. Like, I remember when that was the pinnacle of cheese. That's how broken we currently are, right? If they were to even think... This is another thing too, by the way. Every time they rework a Warframe, you can say goodbye to that Warframe in Conclave, right? The only exception so far is Chroma. For some reason.
Yeah.
Which I think there's going to be a bug with Chroma.
Chroma isn't that bad.
Nah, Chroma's fine.
Like, you don't get to see him that much in Conclave.
Bro, Chroma, right, like... He used to be like Stone Zone's counter to the Myos cheese back in the day, right? Oh my god, it was hilarious to watch. We tried using it on Ashnakana players, but you would just kill yourself with the Ashnakana because like how broken that melee weapon was as well.
I've been trying to use Necros and Akana, Soul Punch, and then melee spam Ash players to death.
Melee spam Ash players, bro. Here's what I did to Ash players. Fucking, I Nidus staticored them. I have zero respect for anyone who runs around with a melee weapon. Like, I hate it. It is so cheese. Like, melee has always been broken in Conclave, always, right? Only now, you know, now if you use melee weapons and just run around blocking, it doesn't hurt you to harm them. You know what I mean? It's like, and now at least it does waste your ammo. But whereas before, you shot your entire clip into them, they'd still have like 50 energy, and then you'd like fucking, you'd lose all your shields, and you're like, fuck off.
Right.
Like fucking right. Hazy puts Verity puts hardly ever see plasma players now. You're fucking right. There's no point to it. Like, radiation used to be worse than what it is now.
Plasma is pretty. I mean, I think it's fine. Like, it's not affected much by the fall off bug as Tigress and Strun Wraith is.
Oh, and Sobek. Have you seen the Sobek?
Yeah, that's stupid. Absolutely dumb. That's evil.
Every Spanch had one, yeah. Alpha, you were in the fucking Spanch group at the time when you had that shit. Fucking Alpha back in the day when he ran with El Impero would run around with fucking... I actually stole Alpha's build at one point. I stole his build to be like, this is how you do this properly. Because he had Necros Opticon. It was such a good concept and idea for a build, right? And he just wouldn't soul punch, he wouldn't do anything. All he would do is like, ult with Necros to respawn faster. I'm like, are you fucking... Here, give me this.
Now you can get infinite respawn with him.
Yeah.
Like infinite instant respawn.
Bro.
Even if I die, I'm coming back to kill you.
I think it's fine as a reoccurring answer here. Fucking... A reoccurring thing keeps on going back to fucking Zoz. Oh, let's change it up to an old cheese that's still around but somehow has now found its way into my heart as actually pretty balanced.
What?
Loki Decoy.
Loki what?
Loki Decoy. Remember how bad that used to be?
Yeah.
Right. Now it's the only way for a gun to damage a player using melee weapons. Because it shoots through blocking for some reason. So if you see some fucking weeaboo Naruto running with Ash Nakana up to you, just place a decoy down and the fucker's dead. It's brilliant. Fucking...
See, what I find the cheapest about Ash Nakana is that, like, it's so spammable. At that point, I'm ready to grab Mire. At that point, I'm ready to use Mire because he's just so annoying. I went from 70 health to 28 one time.
You're lucky you survived, because before Chains of Harrow, it used to just one-shot you, and if you did survive, the bleed procs will get you. So you went from 160 shield and 130 health to none.
That's awful.
Zero has just reminded me of my fucking absolute hatred now that Loki decoys now move.
Yeah.
I hate that. I fucking hate that. Bro, Nidus players now. That was like... I loved Loki, but I hated him, right? Loki players would spam decoy. That was 3 stacks for me. Now, can you imagine trying to get a stack off of a decoy? It just moves to the left a little bit, and it just fucking wastes your energy while it's still shooting at you. I hate that. I fucking... Oh. What, sorry?
You know it's a fun setup to use?
What's a fun setup?
Titania,
Oh god.
Titania and Rubico. Her third ability, I would use it on certain cheesers if they couldn't cheese properly. I'd use the third ability on them and have them float in air while I teabag.
Stone Zone used Titania, Mitre, and what is it called? What's the glaive called again? That glaive. Forgot. The Grenier one. No, not Kestrel. Halakar, yeah. Right, because he would use the first ability on them, and then he'd Halakar them, so then they just basically just couldn't use a weapon, and then he'd fucking kill them if they were using cheese. like, oh my god. It's so good. That's Verity just realised that decoys move. Yes, decoys now move.
You know what would be awesome? If you used Halakar and Ivara.
Oh yeah, I've done that before. I used that before back in the day when it like one shot with Navigator. I think it's still funny that it, like that kind of build still works. But what would you rather? The person you hit with your glaive die, or the person you hit with your glaive still have all of their shields but just be slightly paralysed for 5 seconds?
I'd rather have him die.
Yeah, like that's the way I see it. And then when they do eventually nerf Serata, if they ever fucking do, right, all it will be is I'll switch from Serata to fucking something stupid, like absolutely brain dead stupid. I'll probably use Tysus and then fucking navigate a Tysus bolt into somebody.
Yo, Tysus is pretty strong. I just hate the flight speed on it.
Fucking Arrakis was running around with Tysus, and he was playing like Frost Tysus, and this guy came up to him with a fucking Mire. He just popped him in the head, and he just fucking keeled over. And you seen his body just melt. Bro, that shit, man. That fucking shit was brilliant. Oh my god. Bro, people in the chat are just talking about how decoys move. Yes, they move. I don't know what update they added it in, but I actually was ready to throw my controller when I seen one of them not only move, but move out of the way of a bullet.
Yeah.
I was like, fuck you. So not only have you got an ability that costs 25 energy, that has aimbot potential, that can now shoot through people blocking, and has a lot of health and can't be one-shotted unless you like headshot it because it has shield gating. Like, fuck this game. Like, what the fuck? Like, what have they done? They've made an ability that's literally only purpose is to distract people into a fucking turret.
Oh my gosh.
Did you just rename it?
Yo, Prisma Gorgon, and imagine Prisma Gorgon and Loki.
I can. I've seen it.
Like,
It hurts. Like,
I find it so cheesy that you can just stand there and turret someone to death. What? To me, one time that was annoying because there was this Inaros player and he was just shooting. He was just standing there and just shooting and shooting and shooting. It never ended.
oh god. Oh man. If you play Naros now, you're either just memeing or you're literally looking for the worst time of your life because, like, it is. You just don't want to play him.
Right. mean, I haven't gotten it yet. Kind of want to get Nidus. I'd rather get Nidus instead.
Bro, Nidus and Conclave is also a bad time. However, you have a slight chance of doing good if the people you're fighting are incompetent and not using cheese. So you gotta find a good balance of that. If there is a single person using Tigris, you gotta be a melee player for the entire game because you're just gonna die.
Right.
The accuracy of decoy isn't bad anymore, to be fair. It gets worse over time. That's why they give people a fucking Gatling gun, Zero. They don't give them Vectus, they give them fucking a Gorgon. They don't need to run out of ammo. The longer the thing shoots and the more bullets it fires, the more accurate it gets, right? As you were saying. That's why they give them these guns now, man. Because they fucking melt.
Yo, have you tried Tetra?
I have.
Tetra is amazing.
I didn't like it.
You just have to be, like, mid-range with it.
Yeah.
I mean, you can do substantial damage to people, and even works well with Neja and Jakusar. I try not to use that build too much because I find Jakusar.
If you think Blade and Whips are cheese right now, just you again Chains of Harrow, like after that update, Blade and Whips were just absolutely AIDS because the fucking range on that attack would like immediately get you one-shotted.
Mios and Lasera AIDS right now.
Dude.
Yeah, they are pretty like fucking just on top of like just everything when it comes to melee. Like unless you're up against someone with Sylvan Aegis, you were not gonna like have a worry with you know, someone using a fucking Blade and Whip. Really, unless you're like fucking like in the thick of it, I guess. Like, I just avoid melee now. I avoid anyone in melee range. Like, I hate it. It's just you'll never see me use a shotgun because I'm never close to people. Like, in fact, now to be honest with you, unless I'm using like a Tigris or something cheesy that is a shotgun, you'll never see me within shotgun range of anybody because I just hate being meleeed. It's so fucking cheesy.
Right. You know, that one time I used Sylvan Aegis, I tried not to spam you with it.
Yeah, bro.
I know it's annoying.
It's those fire procs that make it worse because like it literally lets everybody. Verity just suggested low-key decoy with Tenora. Let's not give anybody any ideas, please.
No, Chroma and Tenora. Do that.
Chroma and Tenora, oh sweet Jesus. I have a Riven for Tenora. I can't wait for the Tenora Prime to come out for then me to just sell that Riven on day of release for about 300 plat.
The thing's probably gonna be the most turret-like thing in Conclave, if it ever reaches Conclave.
It won't be in Conclave, and if it is in Conclave, it'll be in very briefly before they remove it because they would have found some fucking issue with it. Honestly, DE, right? They just need to hire some peon intern to be like, oh, this is balanced, this isn't balanced, this is balanced, and then Conclave would be fine. Like, keep the shield gating, just remove the Vectus Prime damage bullshit, fucking, hell, just remove all the broken shit, just remove it, right? Just take it out of Conclave. Don't, if you try and fix it, that's where the issues come. Anything breaks, just throw it away. What, sorry?
Yeah. I can understand that.
Yeah. I'll be testing these. Don't you dare. Zero. Your build rates will be removed. Fucking. Lol. Fuck's sake. See what you've done. You've done this. Oh boy. Oh.
I did have one idea, but I don't want to say it here.
Oh fuck it, you've already done enough damage. Like, just go for it.
So, I was thinking of a build that could tank half of Vectus Prime. Like, half of its clip. Like, 5 Vectus Prime shots would take about, like, 1.5 seconds to kill you. And that's a lot considering that you could just headshot somebody.
Yep.
Now you could survive with some health left. Like, I'm assuming that you could survive with about 25% of your health left if you can get it right.
Yeah.
So the build was gonna be Mag, Sonora, and Cycron with Rock the Dark Dagger. But you need to run the HP positive build. And
So
not
you'd
just
use
HP
you'd use the
positive.
Dark Dagger to gain shields back immediately on melee.
Right. But you use Cycron to force the procs. See what I mean?
Oh, oh, I see it now. Right.
Yeah.
Only issue
Rock
is
the
if a
Dark Dagger.
person uses Victus Prime with Necros, sees you coming, soul punches you, and then fucking nukes you before you can even get up. That's how I would counter that.
That's the problem. That's one pitfall. See, you can run an energy positive build, and you can run her augment with her polarize, and you could stop their shield regen for 10 seconds, and you have enough time to regain shields and spam Dark Dagger until you get 300. Or if that's not efficient enough, then you could use Crush and you gain a lot of your
Right, Loco's got a
Dark Dagger
question.
gets to.
Loco's got a question for us both here, right? What are your thoughts on snipers besides Vectus? Are they fine as they are now, or even after the fallout off bug increased their damage?
I
What?
think a large amount of snipers are fine, except Vectis Prime and Volcar Wraith.
It's not the Volcar Wraith that's the broken one. It's the regular Volcar.
No, Wraith is broken.
Are you sure? It has literally less damage.
Really?
Yeah, it doesn't have puncture. Wait, I was missing something. It's either doesn't have puncture or slash. It only does impact and puncture or impact or slash. I think it's missing slash. It's the regular Volker is the broken one because it like literally one shots Mirage with 160 shields. One shot's shield, sorry. One shot's a Mirage with 160 shields, rolls while taking the damage, and with the night buff active of her third ability, which is a combined total of I think 60% damage reduction, and it's still one shot shields.
Damn, that's broken.
Yeah, both Volcars deal 125 damage, and I think it's because the scope that makes it broken, not because the actual gun damage says it. How I feel about them, I think
And
both hit like a truck, right? So I could be just describing one of them, right, or both of them at the same time. I don't realize, right? Okay, so how I think they should fix snipers, right? Are you ready for this? Right? Decrease the fire rate. Done. Like half that shit. Snipers shouldn't be rapid fire because they are.
right, Snipetron, Snipetron Vandal. See, um, some people have mixed feelings about it because I got to annoy somebody with it, and I guess you could argue it's cheap a little bit because of the entire one shot on health. But you won't. I mean, you won't survive it unless you're at or 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 someone different.
Or you have like some damage reduction ability on. Because I mean, my Mirage with 109 health can survive a Snipetron shot if I have my third ability active and I roll. Whereas I can't do that with a Vectis at all, like, or a Volcar. So again, like honestly, these guns or whatever, I just think either they decrease the fire rate or the magazine down to one bullet. Like I think it should just be the fucking fire rate they nerf. To be honest, they fire too fast for the amount of damage they do. I feel that's what the
See,
main issue of
I would
contempt
like
is.
I would like if recoil was reduced on Snipetron Vandal, so like you have less chance of accidental headshots, because that's what I think is what people's problem with
Accidental headshots.
it.
Fucking bro, like sorry bro, I was aiming for your chest and then suddenly the recoil made the second shot aim at your head. Like yeah, there's been so many situations where that's happened with me.
Yeah.
So I get it.
Yeah. What do you think about Argonac?
I love it. I fucking love that gun.
Same.
It's so good. I'm just shit with it though. I'm just terrible with the auto weapons. I just can't fucking aim them.
No, but I mean, you seem pretty precise with burst on Prime. For me, like, it's been kind of hard trying to control it and catch people before they turn a corner.
Right. The reason for that, I'm accurate with the burst and prime because I used to use it a lot when, like, you know, I first started playing. It used to be my go-to primary. Another reason is since it's a burst weapon, I can control the like where like the spread and all that shit, so I can track for a short amount of time and then wait a little bit and then fire another round. Whereas with a fully auto weapon or even with an Argonac, right, you gotta consistently hit shots because your magazine is like you do amount it's roughly more damage, but your magazine, I don't know, I feel as if I'm reloading more with an auto weapon than I do with a bursting, and that's what I hate. So that's why I feel as if I have more control with a burst weapon than I do with fully auto.
Right. Now, Cyber's Prime.
I want it because I want to see it.
What?
Yeah, it's Sabaris Prime. I'm wanting to build it just so I can use it because apparently, according to everyone I spoke to, it's just a direct upgrade to the Bursting Prime, and I kind of need a direct upgrade. So.
Deck Cyberus is, I mean, it should be a little stronger than Cyberus Prime is. It's more accurate.
I'm more interested in that fire rate and the accuracy in the Sabaris Prime. That's why I want that one.
Right.
Because like you fire the first shot, like you press the trigger down once, it fires 2 shots, right? But you fire it so fast that the recoil doesn't kick in at all until both of the shots are fired, which is amazing when it comes to like burst fire weapons. If it hits, like, and the fire rate too as well, like you got the augment for it that increases that again after you hit like with the first bullet. So it rewards you for getting consecutive hits, and that's what I like about the bursting too. It rewards you for being accurate. A lot of weapons just give you the kills, but a lot of these other weapons reward you for being accurate first before you do it.
Yeah, and Cero, um, that it's a pull on, and it deals. I mean, it deals pretty good damage against shields. That's why I like it against people that like to block.
Oh, people like the block. Like if you want to pick a weapon to just stop blocking players, just go for like fucking Ogress or Mitre because they can't block that shit. It's an AoE weapon, but like
I just built it. I just built Ogress.
oh, try the Mitre, man. It's so rewarding. Like you get a fucking hit with that. Like oh my god, just an explosion.
Oh yeah, that one time we were in a match together, and I accidentally headshotted you with Mitre.
I was like good shit. I was like fucking good shit. Because like when I was I used to be pretty good with it because Arrakis came up with a build back in the early days of a Narrows Mitre, and what you would do is you'd hit them once with a Mitre and then fucking hit them with the sand attack from a Narrows and it killed them immediately. So that's what the build revolved around back in the day. So you basically just had to get that one hit, but it trained me up to like get a better hit with it. Tried to use the Mitre again. I'm fucking so shit with it that it's just so it's not even funny how bad I am.
See, I like the flight speed with it, and Thunder Mitre just makes it even more powerful.
I don't even rank up Thunder Mitre all the way. I rank it up 2 times because it doesn't affect how much damage you do with the explosion. And most of the time you're going to explode with it.
You have Hydroid Prime.
Yeah, I do.
Oh, you should try Hydroid Prime and Mitre.
Oh no, don't, because you just, so what, you undertow and then you come out of undertow and you just fucking miter the cunts that are like spazzing out on the floor. Oh sweet Jesus.
Oh man, I gotta stop giving people ideas.
Dude, use these ideas, man. Like, fucking go for it, because, like, I would go for these ideas. Just use them, like, honestly, because the best thing you can do now is, like, inject more creative builds into Conclave and stop these fucking shit cunts that, like, do nothing but steal builds. Because, and at the same time, rename your weapons and then put fucking skins on them. Because people won't be able to know what the fuck you're using if you do that. It took, like, how long? It took how many months before they realised I was using Sarah? Like, fucking, like, what? September, I started doing it. That's when I uploaded a video, like, with me using it. And it was fucking glorious, because all I was doing was navigating around obstacles and then hitting players that would camp outside the map and shit, but with it, and they'd fucking rage in the chat. I've got 7 viewers. This is pretty cool, actually. Got quite a few fucking people watching. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Are you still there, Consuming, or is your mic cut out? Guessing option number uno. Not entirely sure. I think we have lost them, guys. It's got a comment about raising Consuming's volume. Definitely an idea. I should have probably checked that before the stream start. Right. It's the same levels as me. Because I have quite a loud mic, to be fair, and Consuming doesn't. I don't know where he's went though. I think he's just disconnected, or he's had to disconnect his mic for something. Either way, I'll answer some questions from the chat if you guys have any. Seeing a lot of Ogress recently, or actually, yeah. So it used to be just a weapon that you didn't need to use because AoEs were like effortless and still kinda are. But if you're up against melee only players, right, like fucking Darth Eskar and fucking Hachiro, right, using an Ogress on them is a good idea because they won't be able to fucking block it and they'll probably rage about it in the fucking chat. So that's the type of shit that I like to see.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go, you're back.
The call kind of ended.
Oh, did it? Oh, it's just an internet thing. Sorry about that.
That's okay. Yeah.
So, right. We are an hour and 7 minutes in, right? I don't know how long I'm going to actually get these to last as well, right? I was aiming for half an hour, but this has just been such a good conversation, and we're getting quite a bit of viewers just now, so I'm not entirely sure when this should end. But it's been basically quite an informative chat with you, man. Like, I've enjoyed this.
Thanks. This has been fun chatting with you too. Like,
Bit of weird insight though too. Are you? That's another thing too. You're hanging around a lot with who's it you play a lot with now? Jay-Z, Mike the King. I don't know if Prince Somnus is one of the people you hang out with. I'm not entirely sure. But I'm surprised you guys haven't like made your own group yet, to be honest. Because he's kind of like work well together and he's play a lot together, so it only makes sense for that type of thing.
yeah. Well, we're just in different clans, honestly.
Oh yeah.
I would have liked to make my own Conclave group, build up some population, but not for any negativity though.
No, I mean, doing any of that type of thing does bring negativity. You're right, but I don't think that should stop you from making your own group. I don't think if people being scum to you in matches is the only thing stopping you from making a group on your own, then I don't see why it should stop you. Because if anything, that's just my mindset anyway. I like to piss people off, right? So you know, you're obviously different than me, so. But that wouldn't stop me. If anything, that'd encourage me to do it more. Loco asked another question.
See, I've actually tried to train some some newer players for Conclave.
Who is it you said that I was apparently training, even though I haven't even set foot in Warframe for like months?
See, that was Zero Souls. I know you saw him. He was in one of your videos.
Bro, let me talk about that guy, right? I was actually crying, right? Fucking tears were down my fucking face, right? When I seen his forum post, right? And if anyone wants to know what I'm talking about with that, I'll get it up for you, right? Because this to me, right, is fucking absolutely beyond hilarious. If it wants to load anyway. The forums is apparently a real shit. Or might be my internet, I'm not sure, because I'm streaming, so I might be taking a lot out of my poor fucking my internet.
Well, that's okay.
Alright, we'll wait for that to fucking pop out, right? But I'm glad it's on the other screen, because I don't want fucking everything... I've got two monitors, right? And I'm kind of worried in popping anything up, in case I end up popping up my fucking email or some shit. Here it is, right? Here it fucking is, right? Don't know if you can see that on stream, guys, right? Hold on, let me check OBS and see if that's popping up. Yes, it is! Right, okay. He was in a fucking video, right? He must have been in a match with me. I think this is the guy that was using Vault and was like hiding out the map with fucking his shield up, shooting people. And all I done was navigate the fucking Serata around his shield and kill him with it. Right? And he made a fucking forum post asking PC players how I was doing it. Oh god, it was fucking hilarious. Oh sweet fucking Jesus, right? So then I'm guessing you got into talks with him and then you were like, oh, he was training me, and I'm like, who the fuck is this guy?
Like, he literally told me you trained him. And I thought, like, oh snap, wow, Rivian's training me.
No.
He trained me.
Bro, no. I was neck deep in fucking uni work, man. Like, what was I doing? Hold on, I have my fucking Maya up, right? I don't have Maya up. I ain't popping anything else up other than my fucking Mudbox shit because I'm terrified in case I post something that I shouldn't, right? But, bro, fucking, that guy, right, was fucking, I don't even know. He was, he made a forum post, and then he did something else as well. He made a forum post, and I think he was like talking with other like clan leaders for Warframe. I think you know who I'm on about when I say that, and I think that was about it.
Oh yeah.
So that to me was hilarious. Locals asked a question. Sorry, I missed your question there, Loco, because I was too busy laughing at Rubium training people in Conclave beyond the grave. Fuck it. Right. What's your opinion on possible after meta weapons if everything else gets fixed? We're talking about autos without Zenith, snipers without broken Vectas, Volkers and Rubico, shotguns after fix. And also melee weapons if they get a tweak balance. He's basically asking if this is actually going to get fixed. My answer to that is no. It's not going to get fixed. I give Conclave an estimated life expectancy of by the end of next year.
I think there's a chance that it could be fixed.
Nah, bro, the Warframe PvP community was bigger, like, during Chains of Harrow, and then after the fucking Hydroid Panthera shit died, it plummeted.
In our Discord server, for Conclave, there's someone with a connection, and he so we're it's an ongoing project though, so we could see some changes soon.
That guy that's in that Discord, might I add, right, has been in that Discord for 3 years and has done nothing.
Well, I mean,
all the people that were working on Conclave stopped working on Conclave after Plains of Eidolon came out.
See, I don't know why that happened.
Because they needed manpower, they needed people. Like, developing these massive open worlds, man, takes a lot, right? Like, they've got environment they need to sort out, right? Then they've got to, like, make somehow add tileable fucking generation in there, too. Like, it's huge. Like, those open world maps were their massive source. And then right after that, right, people were complaining about Umbra, so then they had to do that. It basically meant whatever team was in Conclave are now probably, like, neck deep in, like, fucking, you know, like, other work.
Right. I can understand that too, and I was thinking maybe I had an idea. What if we could fundraise for Conclave?
Well, I ain't donating my fucking my shekels into actually trying to encourage developers who are getting paid thousands a year, like fucking, to do their fucking job. Like, I'm not I'm not doing that. Like, hey, let's make a fundraiser to tell this fucking game developer to actually do their job. Like, what? When did that happen? Why don't I get a fundraiser to do uni work? They've dropped Conclave entirely. Exactly. Hey, like, Verity, they've abandoned it, right? And the only thing that's left is us, who are, like, picking at the bones of it. Conclave right now is like a dead fucking blue whale at the bottom of the ocean. And right now we're the fucking bone parasites that suck the calcium out of it. Like, we're literally... Oh, it's not coming back.
It doesn't need to stay dead. We can bring it back to some degree, but it's just not gonna be what it was before.
Oh, they're gonna, if they they've given up with reworking PvPs. They've done it. This is the third attempt, by the way. So
Third attempt.
Right. So Conclave, when it first came out, used PvE weapons and mods, right? And it was just small arena type thing. That was Conclave originally. That was 1.0. When 2.0 came out, that was with solar rails, right? Solar rail PvP, and they made it so the longer you're in the map, the longer, like, the more mods you unlock from the PvE to then use it, right? And then that led to the first emergence of meta builds, such as Trinity and Mesa, right? And then technically 3.0, but not really 3.0. This is technically the 2.0 Conclave, right? Which is what we have now, which is Teshin and, you know, the Team Annihilation and shit like that. That was that before. And then they had this technically a fourth revive attempt by adding the Valentine's Day event shit behind Conclave, and then people on the forums raged about it because they were forced to play Conclave.
See, why do people, like, rage so much about PvP? And it's barely consuming any. It isn't, like, what is DE resources? I see that argument a lot, like, and it doesn't make any sense to me, considering how small Conclave is compared to open world maps that require, you know, rooms of computers.
Right, no, this is the difference, right? This is where a lot of people are getting confused, right? So what they do, so DE pick a project and they exert about 80% of their resources on that one project, right? So whether that be open world maps, a quest, right? Some shit like that, that's what they do. And the remaining percent are the ones that manage the rest of the daily goings on in the game, right? So when it comes to something that's long term, i.e. raids, right? Raids required constant upkeep because they were an existing part of the game that kept on breaking every time something was added, right? They then finally decided to pull the plug on it because they were like, we don't have enough manpower or resources to keep on fixing this one mode that breaks every single update because it's that old, right? So they pulled the plug, right? That's what they're going to do with Conclave.
So it's... Well,
they're gonna pull the plug. They're gonna either pull the plug or they're gonna ignore it and pretend it doesn't exist. That's what they're gonna do, right? They're gonna bury, like, right now you go to the Conclave relay or like the Conclave room. It's not even the Conclave room anymore. It's just Teshin. They've already filled the gap now. Conclave's going to be removed. That little podium thing will be for Steel Path now. That room that Teshin's in the relay will only be for Steel Path now. They are completely, slowly but surely, phasing out Conclave items and rewards and then putting them into PvE, right? All that's left now is for those skins to be added as a reward at the end of Steel Path. Because the mods that we've got aren't even specific to Conclave anymore. The first sign of Conclave's decay, to me, was when they added Spring-Loaded Broadhead as a fucking PvE mod as well, and then they gave it to Sentience, right? You play any Railjack mission, or you play any mission that's got Sentience now, you get a bunch of Conclave mods, and you're like, what the fuck is this? All these mods, all these things now that we have specific to us are going to be phased out, right? The only thing that we have 100% that's fixed and will never be removed unless they completely change it is the Conclave Sayandana.
Right.
And what they'll do is they'll say, hey, if you've got the Conclave Sayandana, it will now just permanently stay lit once we remove the mode. That's all they'll say. And that's all we'll have left of Conclave. That fucking Sayandana that I hate.
And our screenshots.
And our drama on YouTube, yeah. That's it. That'll be the last of a bygone era, right? That's what Warframe will turn into, right? So that's how I see it going, right?
Like, why do people see this game as a chore? And it should just be to have fun. People grind the hell out of this game. It's not. I mean, it's not even funny. To me, that's so boring.
It is boring, it's fucking terrible, but the issue, right, that I see now, it's following a pattern. Conclave's following the same pattern. Believe it or not, Conclave has more specific items, rewards and mods than Raids did ever, right? All with the Raids combined, right?
I know there's a console in the ship, like, in our orbiter. Was that the Raid thing?
No.
It seems like a dead console, like, between the Syndicate and the Navigation.
That's a name I've never seen in Conclave for a while. Mishlak has just left a comment, ladies and gentlemen. Fucking Mishlak. How's it going, buddy? How's life been? Don't come back. Fuck off. Nobody wants you here.
Well,
that's just calling it how it is, mate. Fucking bruh. But yeah, Conclave's following the same path as Raids were following, i.e. DE is going to find a new place for the rewards, which they're doing slowly but surely because there's that much in Conclave. They're going to rewrite the mods to be all used in PvE as well, and then what they're going to do is they're going to make it so we don't play Conclave anymore, and they're going to give the Sayandana to us all who's played it, and then they're going to make it permanently lit up, and then they're going to kill the mode. That's what's going to happen. So again, I'm giving, with the rate of the decay in Conclave, I'm giving it to the end of next year before Conclave is removed. And if I'm wrong, it will be another year after that, right? It's literally got a year to live to me.
I'll give it another 3 years.
3 years, nah. It's fucking, Warframe doesn't have another 3 years in it.
Not with Tencent.
No, fucking Tencent, bro. That's gonna fucking, oh boy. Fucking Tencent.
DE, I don't think DE realizes they don't realize how creative their players are with Conclave, and I think they leave a lot of that, the culmination of skill and experience out of the game.
They haven't realized that they've created a PvP that's like so advanced because of the movement that they've created for a PvE mode. Like, it's so fucking fluid and genius. Verity's asked.
It is.
It's not even asked. The only way it would come back is if they've re-established a PvP dev team, and with Conclave being a minority group, why would they? They wouldn't. Exactly, they wouldn't.
Isn't DE Steve in charge of the mode?
He is the creative director of Digital Extremes.
What is he doing? Like, what is DE Steve doing?
DE Steve, he is busy right now trying to fix the new stuff that they're making for like the quest shit. They're doing another event this year, I think another event anyway. They're adding a new Warframe, which Scott's handling. I think they've got like another. They need to hurry up with this fucking sentient quest shite with Lotus because that's starting to get really boring and shit. Like
It is. It is.
that's their priority. None of them are looking at Conclave at all. Mishlak puts, I come to rule. No, you come to fucking get removed from my comments. you don't get to be here. I don't like fucking absolute degens in my comment section. Thank you very much. But yeah, that's the main thing when it comes to, you know, fucking Warframe right now. It's just the developers have just given up on it. They don't care. They genuinely at the point now where it's just
Yeah. I mean, I think they're just gonna ignore it as long as they can, whether they decide to remove it or not. I mean,
well, again, I'm enjoying it while it lasts. I'll put it that way. Like it doesn't, like, just because something is going to die soon doesn't mean it's like, you know, its value isn't removed. I'm enjoying Conclave as it is, like, for the time being, and I'll always have fond memories of it.
who knows? Maybe. I mean, maybe. Well, even maybe if it does get removed, and people get bored of grinding PVE all the time, and they decide to take a second. I mean, the player base decides to take a second look at Conclave. Maybe DE could get enough demand to bring it back.
No, what people are going to do is they're going to stop playing Warframe and actually go and focus on a PvP based game, apparently. That's like the main argument on the forums for any type of addition or fix to Conclave. No one plays Conclave, stop trying to fix it, let it die, right? That's the PvE player response.
Like, it's not true.
I know it's not true, but these people are just Mongos, like, they just don't have any fucking brain cells about them. The devs openly scoff when Conclave is brought up. Yeah, because if they were to fix it now, right? If they were to do anything with it now, it would just be like, what? This would be like the fifth attempt.
They could do it. They could fix it in a way that is kind of stealthy in the community, so it won't bring it up. I mean, that's my thought on it. And that's what they've been doing already. They've been fixing minor things here and there. And I mean, I think that's okay. But there's larger problems in PvP that need to be solved.
The biggest problem in PvP is definitely the weapon balance. Like,
yeah,
that's
a huge problem. It's either that or they just add stuff to buff it out.
Right. I think that's everything covered now. We're approaching the 1 hour and 30-minute mark. I think I'm going to call it here, right? I'll give these 2 minutes now for people to ask questions. Any outgoing messages going. We've got 7 viewers, which I'm very happy about. Just to point out, the other person who potentially might be doing another type of thing like this probably won't even get close to that, which I find hilarious, even though their channel is definitely much bigger. So, I openly enjoy that.
Yeah.
The player base is too small for them to even consider. Yeah, you're correct. Well, I mean, to be fair, there's like, what, 2,000 people in the PvP Discord? How many of those are active is probably like about 10%. Like, most active things in PC Conclave is that weeaboo guy, Omekasu. Oh, fuck it. I don't even pronounce his fucking name. It's so weeby, right? this PC player, and you got this other guy who just randomly plays Conclave and uploads YouTube videos. I don't even think he's in that Discord. And then you've got like fucking, I don't know who else plays at this point. It's just those 3 PC players and like PS4 that talk in there. Like like that Discord is fucking absolute dead, and it was dying when I got banned from it. So.
Yeah, I mean, all I see now is just, it's just us PS4, some on Xbox.
Oh,
I
you
think
got.
Xbox.
Oh, I know who you're talking about on the Xbox. Did I tell you about the time when I managed to get him to rate his sister and said his own sister was a 7 out of 10 in hotness? I found that hilarious, and I'll never let that man live it down.
Who you're talking about, but it's,
That's the guy, Loco. Yeah. How do you pronounce that? Fuck, I ain't even gonna attempt that. Conclave is like the ginger stepkid in the family that the family hates as far as the game modes go. I wouldn't even say that. I would say it is it's just the adopted member of the fucking family, and they've got like 12 kids. That's the equivalent. It's like if they were to pick a child to sacrifice, it'd be the adopted one. That's what this would be. So right. Any last going questions for consuming, guys, before we end the stream? If the answer is no, you've got until you've got another 4 minutes before I just end it. I'll give you an extra 4 minutes. I'm being generous here, guys. Being real generous.
Dark split sword is broken.
Dark splits. Yeah, it's fucked.
I think, like, does it seem to go through shields sometimes? Like, I know I experienced that.
If it headshots, yeah.
Yeah.
Melee weapons shouldn't headshot. Problem solved. Thoughts on the community as a whole? This is a question from Zero.
Huh?
What's your thoughts on the community as a whole? This is from Zero.
Like the PvP community?
Yeah, the PvP community, I'm assuming anyway.
I mean, I think like it can be non-toxic, but at this point it is kind of toxic, and conflicts arise here and there, and it's just a mess.
Yeah.
I think and it is kind of hard to get past all of it because people can't let things go and don't know how to forgive.
Bro, fucking, I'm like at the centre of almost fucking every single one of these conflicts, and you're the guy you can thank for that. See, local boys derping, give him a good thank you, because he was the one that fucking dragged me into literally almost everything. Thanks, Loco, appreciate it, buddy. You cunt. Alright, that'll be it all, guys. Thanks for tuning in. It's been a very long stream. I'm shocked that it even lasted this long. Future ones probably won't last this long. I'll probably set a timer and probably have a better script laid out to talk about, because this one, I had like a good general bunch of questions. I didn't want to get too personal, but you know, we'll see how it goes. Did you get any diss tracks yet? No, but I would actually pay someone to pay a person who we all know to then make a diss track on me. I would pay money for that. I would save it and I would have it played at my own funeral. What are your thoughts on cross-platform Conclave? No. No. Cross-platform Conclave. Who's left on Xbox? Nobody, apart from like people who are into incest. That's the only people that are on Xbox right now. Incest people and furries. That's all that's left on Xbox. PC players, because they've got a fucking mouse and keyboard, would just pub stomp everybody. And us on PS4 are just filled with cheese. So it would just be a fucking toxic combination that would just result in cyanide, and not good. Right.
Nah, like imagine cross-platform though. That'd be awful. I mean, PC players would be shitting on everyone, honestly.
No, they'd just be getting cheesed, honestly.
Mouse and keyboard. They would be getting cheesed, and it'd be. I mean, would it be considered cheating to use mouse and keyboard and versus controller players? Like, we only use our thumb.
That's a good question for JQ. Or is it not JQ? JC, isn't it? That's his name. I remember in one of his videos he was using mouse and keyboard. So I don't know, did they give him an advantage? Did they give him less an advantage? I don't know. But he's another person I'd like to get on and do a live stream talk with. Incestuous Xbox furries, what? Yeah, I'll explain to you later, Verity, don't you worry. And one of his videos he did, I think it's his most recent one he did. I mean, at the end of the day, right, I don't really care. Like, if you have a mouse and keyboard and you want to plug it into your PS4, fine, but if you're doing that specifically for PvP, that makes you kind of a tryhard. I don't know. I don't care either way. A lot of people in my group are kind of have like a bit of a question about that. Like, should that be allowed? Should it not be? Personally, I don't care, right? If you want to use a mouse and keyboard, go for it, right? But just be aware that you're giving yourself an advantage if you're competent, right? That's all I'm going to say. So expect the standards of you as a player need to be higher if you're using mouse and keyboard. But that's my only thought on it. Any closing remarks? No. Alright, I'm ending it here now, guys. Thanks very much for tuning in. I appreciate the comments. Thanks for the 7 views that have been consistently stayed for, I think, at least like 15. Like, it took 15 minutes to get consecutive viewers, so I'm guessing I was streaming long enough that I got like most of my viewer base involved. So yeah, that's good to know. Alright, cheers guys, I'll end this here. Thanks for watching. I'll probably put an announcement out to who's going to be next on the live stream. I hope you enjoyed your time here though, Consuming. You know, it's been fun for me.
Oh, thanks for having.
And, that long pause gave me a bit of the fear there. I was like,
oh, what?
It's fine. Anyway, right, I'll speak to you all later. Yep, I know who most of you are.